Hey guys, today we're going to learn a different way of graphing. Today is, instead of using slope-intercept form, we're going to be finding intercepts algebraically and then using them to graph. Before we get started, let's look at the concept of intercepts. I've got four graphs here. The first thing I want to do is identify the x-intercepts. The x-intercepts are where the pink lines, the graphs, cross the x-axis. Remember, your x-axis is the guy down here on the horizontal line. Okay? So we're looking right here. That's your x-axis. So come over here. I'm going to highlight the x-axis. It crosses the x-axis right here. Okay. The next one crosses the x-axis right here, and then here, I'm going to write down those points. This point is the point -2, 0. This point is the point 2, 0. This guy is -1, 0. This guy is -3, 0. What do you notice about all of those x-intercepts? Yeah, all the y's are 0. That you notice. To find an x-intercept, you're going to know that all the y values are 0. Now let's find the y-intercepts. So we're going to look at the y-axis. I'm going to travel down the y-axis. I got this point, 0, 3. I got this one way up here at the top. That's 0, 5. This one is 0, 1. And this guy is 0, -4. What do you notice about all the y-intercepts? Yeah, all of the y-intercepts have an x value that's 0. So all the x's are 0. So that's what you want to write down in your notes. Right here. Sorry, let's see if I can clear these. Okay. What you want to write down in your notes is what is true about all x's and what is true about all y-intercepts. So what I know is that all x-intercepts have a y value of 0. And I also know that all y-intercepts have an x value of 0. So if we're talking about intercepts, one number is 0, and we're trying to find the other number. Let's see how we can actually use this to graph lines. Okay, so I'm looking at 4x minus 2y equals 10. All right, 4x minus 2y equals 10. So as we look at this, we're going to find the intercepts. Instead of trying to go to slope-intercept form, we're going to find the intercepts. First, let's find the x-intercept. What we said is that all x-intercepts have a y value of 0. So that means we are going to plug in 0 into the y and find our x. So I have 4x minus 2. Instead of y, I'm going to plug in 0. 2 times 0 is 0. 4x minus 0 is 4x. And now I just have a linear equation. 4x equals 10. I'm going to divide both sides by 4. I'm going to get x equals, I can get a decimal. I might get 2.5. I might get 5/2, depending on your calculator. But so my x-intercept is 2.5, comma, 0. So I'm going to plot that point because that's one of the solutions. 2.5, comma, 0. Now let's find our y-intercept. And what did we say was true about all y-intercepts? The x is equal to 0. So I'm going to plug in 0 where I see an x. So 4 times 0 minus 2y equals 10. 4 times 0 is 0. Minus 2y equals 10. Divide both sides by negative 2. And y equals negative 5. So now I have a y-intercept of 0, negative 5. I'm going to plot that guy right here. And because I know this is a linear equation, I am going to go ahead and draw my line that goes right through those 2 points. Put arrows on both sides. Can't see that arrow because of my face, but there you go. You've learned how to graph a line using y equals mx plus b, and now you're learning how to graph a line finding the intercepts, which are just solutions. Here's our next one. Y minus 4 equals negative 3x minus 2. Again, the first method that we've talked about was to change to y equals mx plus b. But we're looking for a different method now. This method is to find the two intercepts. Let's find the x-intercept. If you remember, x-intercept, the y value is always 0. So I've got 0 minus 4, negative 3x minus 2. 0 minus 4 is negative 4. I want to distribute here. So I'm going to distribute negative 3x positive 6. And then some of you remember you got to draw your line. I'm trying to get x by itself. So get rid of the 6. So that's negative 10 equals negative 3x. Then divide by negative 3. And again, you're going to get something like this. X equals, you will either get 10/3, or some of your calculators might show you the number 3 and 1/3, but that's better than the decimal. We don't want 3.3 repeating. We want 3 1/3 or 10/3. So I'm going to graph 3 and 1/3 on the x-axis. So here's 1, 2, 3, 3 1/3. Now I'm going to find my another nice solution, and that is the y-intercept. All y-intercepts have an x value of 0. So I'm going to plug in 0 in for x. Y minus 4 equals negative 3. Instead of x, I'm replacing it with a 0. And now I'm just going to do some simplifying. 0 minus 2 is negative 2. Negative 3 times negative 2 is 6. Add 4 to each side. Y is equal to 10. So I've got a y value way up here. There's my two solutions. Now all I need to do is draw a line that extends throughout the entire graph. There you have it. Okay, so again, could have done y equals mx plus b, but now we're working on a different method. Instead of getting to y equals mx plus b, we're finding the x-intercept, and we're finding the y-intercept, and then we're using those 2 points to help us graph. One more for you. Y equals 5. So if I'm trying to find the x-intercept, now hopefully your mind is remembering some things about this, but if I'm trying to find the x-intercept, we know we plug in 0 for y. So if I plug 0 in here, I get 0 equals 5. Does that ever happen? No. 0 never equals 5. Therefore, there is no x-intercept. Okay. So then, if I do y-intercept, we know x is 0. But there is no x. So that means I get y equals 5. put that dot there. How do I cross this point but never cross the x-axis? Yeah, we've talked about that before. It's simple. We just have to draw a horizontal line. So sometimes this one's a little bit messier this way. There's just one intercept and there's no x-intercept. Hopefully you've recognized now that y equals 5 means you cross the y-axis at 5 and you go straight across. I'm now going to give you 3 problems that are very similar to the ones that you just did. Use the examples in your notes to help you solve these problems. Go ahead and pause the video, try to work them out by yourself, and then unpause it to see if you got them right. If you got them wrong, you can ask me tomorrow. Alright, hopefully you had a chance to work on it. Here is the solution to number 1. Check your intercepts. Make sure you have the right work. You don't just have the answer down. And then check your graph. Here's the answer to number 2. Here are my intercepts. I did show you my work this time, so you can check yours. And then check your graph. And then finally, example 3, there is no y-intercept, so it's just a vertical line.